My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes in life, you wake up and everything feels heavy. Your heart feels tired, your mind feels crowded, and your soul feels unsettled. You ask yourself, why does everything feel so difficult all of a sudden? But listen carefully. This heaviness is not punishment. This heaviness is transition. Allah does not move you forward gently every time. Sometimes He shakes you. Sometimes He breaks your comfort. Sometimes He removes people, habits, and places you were attached to. Not because He hates you, but because He loves you too much to leave you where you are. Think about it. Before a seed becomes a tree, it is buried in darkness. Before dawn arrives, the night becomes its darkest. And before Allah raises you, He often tests your patience. You feel misunderstood. You feel lonely even in a crowd. You feel exhausted without knowing why. That's because Allah is detaching your heart from what no longer serves your akhirah. He is teaching you to rely on Him, not people. He is emptying your hands so He can place something better in them. Sometimes Allah answers your dua by saying, not this life, a better one is coming. So He removes the old version of you. He removes the distractions. He removes the false peace. And yes, it hurts. Growth always hurts. But remember this, Allah never takes something away unless He plans to replace it with something purer. If you are feeling lost, if your heart feels heavy, if your tears fall silently at night, know this, Allah is preparing you for a new chapter. Do not rush the process. Do not question His wisdom, and do not lose hope. Because when Allah moves you, He moves you towards light, even if the path feels dark. Trust Him, be patient, and keep your heart connected to Allah. The weight you feel today will become the strength you carry tomorrow. When life suddenly feels heavy, when your chest feels tight for no clear reason, when even small tasks drain your energy, many people assume something is wrong with them, or that Allah is displeased with them. But very often, this weight you feel is not a sign of punishment at all. It is a sign that Allah is moving you from one state to another. Transition is rarely comfortable. Change presses on the heart before it opens new doors. If everything feels heavy right now, it may be because Allah is shifting you away from what you have outgrown and preparing you for what you are about to become. Comfort can sometimes be the biggest test. When life is too easy, the heart becomes attached to the dunya, routines become habits without purpose, and the soul stops questioning its direction. So Allah, out of mercy, disturbs that comfort. He places a weight on the heart, so you finally pause and reflect. You begin to ask deeper questions. You begin to turn inward. You begin to turn back to Allah with sincerity rather than habit. This heaviness is not meant to crush you. It is meant to wake you. Think of how Allah changes seasons. The air grows heavy before the rain falls. The sky darkens before it brings life back to the earth. In the same way, the soul often feels pressure before renewal. Allah does not elevate a servant without first teaching them patience. He does not grant clarity without first allowing confusion. He does not give strength without first allowing weakness to be felt. If you feel overwhelmed, it may be because Allah is teaching your heart to let go of false control and place its trust fully in Him. Many times this heaviness appears when Allah is slowly removing things you were emotionally dependent on. People you relied on may drift away. Plans you were confident in may collapse. Paths you thought were certain may close without explanation. And in that moment it hurts deeply. But what hurts is not always what harms. Allah removes attachments that would limit your growth. He takes away crutches so you learn how to stand firmly with Tawakkul. He closes doors not to deprive you, but to protect you from walking into spaces that would damage your faith or delay your destiny. There is also a spiritual weight that comes before closeness to Allah. When the heart is being refined, it feels sensitive. Things that once distracted you no longer satisfy you. Noise feels louder. Silence feels heavier. You feel different from before, yet not fully settled into what is coming next. This in-between state is uncomfortable, but it is sacred. It is where sincerity grows. It is where dua becomes honest. It is where you stop asking Allah for things and start asking Allah for guidance, nearness, and peace. It is important not to rush this phase. When heaviness comes, the nafs wants quick relief, quick answers, quick escapes. But Allah works in depth, not haste. He reshapes the heart slowly so it can carry what is coming next. If He were to lift the weight too early, you would return to old patterns. So He allows you to feel it, to sit with it, to learn from it. And while you may not see it now, this phase is building inner strength that ease alone could never give you. Do not interpret difficulty as abandonment. Allah is closer to you in moments of struggle than you realize. Every sigh, every tear, every silent prayer is witnessed. This heaviness is not random. It is measured. It is intentional. It is guided by divine wisdom. And one day you will look back and realize that this was the moment your life quietly changed direction. So if today your heart feels heavy, do not despair. Speak to Allah honestly. Slow down. Let go of what is slipping away. Trust that Allah is carrying you somewhere new. What feels like pressure now will later feel like protection. What feels like loss will reveal itself as mercy. And what feels heavy today will, by the will of Allah, become the very reason your heart grows lighter tomorrow. When Allah takes something away, the heart naturally interprets it as loss. We measure our lives by what we can see and hold. So when something leaves, whether it is a person, a plan, a position, or a sense of stability, it feels like a part of us has been torn away. The pain is real, and Allah does not dismiss that pain. But what we often fail to understand in that moment is that Allah never removes something from a believer's life without wisdom, purpose, and mercy woven into that decision. Removal is not always rejection. Very often it is redirection. There are things we hold on to that quietly limit us. They feel familiar, so we assume they are good for us. We grow attached to people who cannot carry us forward, routines that keep us spiritually stagnant, and dreams that were born from ego rather than guidance. Allah sees what we cannot see. He knows where each path leads. So when something is not meant to accompany you into your next chapter, He gently, or sometimes firmly, takes it away. And yes, it hurts, because attachment creates dependence, and dependence makes separation painful. The heart resists letting go because it fears emptiness. We worry that if this leaves, nothing will replace it. But emptiness is often required before Allah places something better. A full cup cannot receive more. A heart crowded with unhealthy attachments has no space for deeper peace. Allah empties the hands of His servant not to leave them deprived, but to prepare them to receive what they could not hold before. What He replaces is not always similar in form, but it is greater in benefit. Many times what Allah replaces is not something external, but something internal. He replaces reliance on people with reliance on Him. He replaces anxiety with trust. He replaces confusion with clarity. He replaces constant noise with inner calm. These are gifts that only come after something else is removed. If Allah were to give you these while you were still attached to false sources of comfort, you would not recognize their value. So He removes first, then He heals, then He gives. This process can feel lonely. When familiar faces disappear and familiar routines end, silence grows. And in that silence, the nafs panics. But that silence is often where Allah speaks to the heart. When distractions are stripped away, you finally hear what your soul has been trying to tell you for a long time. You begin to realize that what you lost was not the source of your peace, it was only a temporary shelter. True peace has always been with Allah, waiting for you to turn back fully. It is also important to remember that replacement does not always happen immediately. Allah's timing is precise. He allows a gap so you learn patience. He allows waiting so you learn gratitude. He allows uncertainty so you learn humility. During this time, it may feel like nothing is happening, but in reality, everything is being rearranged. Allah is aligning people, opportunities, and lessons in ways you cannot yet see. When the replacement comes, it arrives at the right moment, in the right form, and with the right impact. Sometimes the replacement is a version of you that is stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. You become less easily shaken. You stop chasing validation. You learn to set boundaries. You learn to trust Allah even when outcomes are unclear. This inner transformation is often the greatest replacement of all. What you lost on the outside becomes insignificant compared to what you gained within. So when something leaves your life and your heart aches, resist the urge to question Allah's care. Instead, ask Allah to help you see the wisdom behind the removal. Ask Him to purify your heart from unhealthy attachment. Ask Him to prepare you for what is coming next. Because Allah does not close a door without opening another, sometimes not in the same room, sometimes not right away, but always in a way that brings you closer to Him. What feels like loss today will, by Allah's permission, reveal itself as protection tomorrow. And what you thought you needed may have been standing in the way of what you truly deserved. Trusting Allah's process is one of hardest acts of worship, especially when it hurts. Anyone can say they trust Allah when life is smooth, when doors are open, and when answers come quickly. But true trust is revealed when the heart is aching, when plans fall apart, and when the future feels unclear. In those moments, the mind wants explanations, timelines, and guarantees. Yet Allah asks for something deeper: patience without full understanding, faith without immediate relief, and reliance without visible proof. Pain has a way of making us impatient. When something hurts, we want it to stop. We beg Allah to remove the difficulty, to change the situation, to bring ease right now. But sometimes Allah's mercy lies not in immediate relief, but in allowing the process to complete its work within us. Growth that comes too quickly does not last. Hearts that are not tested remain fragile. So Allah allows the struggle to stay a little longer, not to punish, but to strengthen. Trusting Allah's process means accepting that He knows the entire journey, while you only see the step in front of you. You may think this moment is delaying your happiness, while Allah knows it is protecting your future. You may think this hardship is breaking you, while Allah knows it is reshaping you. What feels like chaos to you is order to Allah. What feels like loss to you is placement in a better direction. There will be days when patience feels heavy. When you do everything right, pray, make dua, stay away from what is haram, and still nothing changes. Shaitan whispers that your efforts are pointless, that Allah is distant, that your patience is being ignored. But patience is never ignored. Every moment you restrain your tongue from complaint, every tear you wipe away while still trusting Allah, every night you turn to Him instead of turning away is being counted. Allah records patience the way He records no other deed without measure. Trusting the process also means letting go of comparison. You will see others move ahead while you feel stuck. You will see doors open for people who seem less deserving. This is where the heart is tested deeply. But Allah's plan for you is unique. Your delays are not denials. Your timeline is not a mistake. Allah knows exactly what you need before you reach what you want. If He rushed you to a destination before preparing your heart, that blessing could become a burden. Sometimes Allah delays ease because you are still meant to learn something from the struggle. Perhaps humility, perhaps dependence on Him, perhaps empathy for others who are hurting, perhaps clarity about what truly matters. If ease came too soon, these lessons would be missed. And Allah values your akhirah more than your temporary comfort. So He teaches you in ways that last beyond this life. There is also a quiet beauty in trusting Allah while things are unclear. It softens the heart. It makes your dua more sincere. It turns your prayers from requests into conversations. You stop demanding outcomes and start seeking closeness. You stop asking, when will this end? And start saying, Ya Allah, help me through it. This shift is powerful. It changes not just your situation, but your relationship with Allah. Trust does not mean the absence of sadness. You can trust Allah and still cry. You can trust Allah and still feel tired. Even the hearts of the righteous felt pain. What matters is that you do not let pain turn into bitterness or doubt. You keep showing up. You keep praying even when your heart feels empty. You keep believing even when you do not understand. That consistency is beloved to Allah. One day clarity will come, not always while you are in the struggle, but often after you have passed through it. You will look back and realize that Allah carried you when you thought you were walking alone, that what you feared actually saved you, that what delayed you actually refined you. And in that moment, the pain will make sense, not because it was easy, but because it was meaningful. So trust Allah's process, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because Allah does not waste pain, and He never abandons a heart that relies on Him.